What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back into our friendly subject matter of all, the quantum financial system. As I continue to trudge forward to see if I can prove of this thing's existence, you start to realize that this kind of chitter chatter has been going on for quite some time. So is there a quantum financial systems? Yes, there's many quantum computers out there that are dealing in finance. We're going to cover some of these things because you know what? You better be careful what you wish for. And I know out there in the YouTube sphere, we're hearing all this hip, hip, hooray, it's all good for you. And you start to wonder about the people who are promoting this as something positive. Now, I haven't quite seen that it's positive or negative. But it does make me question all the people who are involved in this particular type of system. Now, with all that being said, later on this week, I will be interviewing an individual who is familiar with the quantum financial system. Yep, finally. I will have him on, and we will be able to ask all the questions that we want regarding the quantum financial system. So, it took a little while. My apologies. I spoke about this interview about 2 weeks ago. And it's been something there's been a lot of reasons for delays, but nonetheless, he'll be on later this week, so look forward to that. So right here it says, as we look smarter, banking and investment, and these tools are becoming embedded in the world through technology. And this is leading us to move away from the financial products we used to have, to understanding that the utilities of the financial institution is now serviced, not through products, through a channel, but through technology experience that serves the utility, the core ability to move money, store value, and access credit. All this all sounds good. But there's a reason why sometimes advancing technology-wise isn't always a good thing. We'll get into that here in a minute. Speaking of, you definitely want something outside of this system, and that has to be gold and silver. For 6,000 years, it's been the only thing saving people's butt from all the different things that's happened throughout our history. So, having said that, when you do, go to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, get a free half ounce of silver. You guys know I have an alternative platform. Over here, I do post about information that I can't post on this YouTube channel. More and more information is going up, dealing with particular subject matters that I encourage you guys to look at, as well as other ones. Yes, and this one was requested. It is up there. And this one too. So getting permission to put those up there, they're up there for you guys to watch. I highly recommend that you go check them out. I'm going to try to do a teaser video on it, but it's kind of hard to pick out spots where you don't have to worry about them becoming an issue. You guys know I got a Facebook group that you can join for free over here. Pimpy's Investment Chat. It's the same name as the YouTube channel. We do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over and join us. It's free to do so. So yes, I've seen this graph before. But it's funny, I noticed that whenever information is shared and people look at it, if there's something on there that doesn't align with what they believe or with what they want, then they attack it. So somebody was nice enough to put an infograph for the so-called quantum financial system. It's definitely different. These are all the things we've been talking about for quite some time. It is very interesting. It breaks it down really good. But then this is where everybody goes, see, there's proof that. No. Look, I can just tell you this. All the information that was being shared about the QFS has been debunked several times. There's people who talk about this, but trust me when I tell you, don't know crap about it. When they're talking about sitting on a board or, working with some people on the inside, the vast majority of people are full of crap. They just keep throwing crap against the wall and hope that somebody else proves them right one day. They'll be thanking me later for that. Nonetheless, this is brought up, and of course, the people who are huge supporters of XRP, who believe that this is going to help the XRP soar to the sky, notice that there's nothing in here about the XRP. So they started slamming this thing. IBM Quantum. We're going to talk about those people here in just a minute. So this is definitely unique. I'm still going through it. I'm checking it out. But again, you should be very careful about what you wish for. This all sounds good, but you know what? Hey, what does the government usually do? They hype something up and they find ways to use psyops and introduce stuff to you, make it look like it's for your benefit and how you're going to get away from the black hats or the cabal. Little do you know, you're just running right into the very trap that they're setting for you. We'll cover it. And I'm going to explain to you who this gentleman is and how he's tied into what we're talking about today. Quantum computing in finance. You notice it didn't say QFS. It just says quantum computing. Now, I've read about quantum computing, but I never heard of any official quantum financial system. Recently, we've seen articles talking about it. And at first, I was like, no, this is crap. This is crap. And I told you, my friend said, no, there's a system. Now, he does work for the government. No, I'm not one of these people. I got some insider. The part I didn't like is he just told me in passing, and he didn't have anything that he could share with me where I could prove this damn thing was real. So I've been digging around ever since, trying to find ways to prove it to you. I did read an article in which a person spoke about it and laid it out in very, very good detail. That individual does know people, as well as himself, that contributed to the quantum financial system. So, the quantum financial system exists, and he'll be coming on to talk about that. I look forward to it. But meanwhile, let's talk about quantum system that works in financing, period. Quantum computing in finance and banking crunching numbers through quantum physics, but current supercomputer standards. Summit is a behemoth located in Oak Ridge National Laboratory and sporting a massive 250 petabyte storage capacity. That's crazy. Summit is capable of doing 200 quadrillion calculations per second. As per John Kelly, IBM's SVP for Cognitive Solutions and Research, supercomputing is a Formula 1 of computing. So it's where companies test bleeding edge technology at an unprecedented scale. You might be wondering what a supercomputer like that is good for. The answer is quantum computing in finance and banking. But really, when it comes to a multitude of possibilities in quantum computing, Summit is good for that. A lot. Now, when I first told everybody this in my videos, when I first started hearing about quantum technology, it was dealing more with the healthcare industry. It was supposed to take real life data as it was being fed to it, and because of its speed, was able to calculate the best approach towards a lot of different things involved in science and the medical field. Now, why we need something that moves so fast and does calculations for financing makes no sense. Later on, what I found out is the very people we don't like, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Chase Bank, and along with them, belong to this network of people that have been testing out quantum calculations. What they're able to do from it is make predictions of human behavior in the finance industry. And from it, calculate the best investments for themselves. Now, they'll tell you it's for the people, but it isn't. But I'm sure along the ways, what else is doing is calculating the best ways to help control the thinking of the masses so you could do like it's being done now with cryptocurrencies, gold and silver, where they manipulate the markets, causing it to crash, buying it on a dip themselves, driving the value up where everybody jumps on the bandwagon, grabbing all the money, making it crash. It's like a vicious cycle. So how could we ever trust people like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, when we find that these people have committed crime after crime after crime, felony after felony after felony? People like Jamie Dimon continue to get away with this crap. Nobody does anything to them. They're never charged with crimes. They continue to commit these crimes and nothing changes. But now they're trying to tell us how we have a new quantum financial system that we're somehow magically going to benefit from. Well, let me run something past you. You see, Summit is the computer that they're talking about. It belongs to IBM. Meet the most powerful supercomputers on the planet, Summit and Sierra. Supercomputers. They're in Oak Ridge National Laboratory and Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, which is right over here near me in California. And you got all these nifty little things that it talks about. Here's some of the things that I have a problem with. You see, when it comes to IBM, they come out as being for people, but the people who are behind IBM have been linked to some real nefarious things. I'll show you what I mean. This gentleman here is the co-founder. His name's Thomas. You can look him up. Well, Thomas there was a big supporter of eugenics. Yep. As a matter of fact, when the Nazis were in the Nuremberg trial and they were being charged for killing all the Jews and doing all the experiments and everything on them, they kept referring back to a conglomerate of people they were getting their information from, including a doctor that was here in the United States. They also said they were taking their orders from individuals, including this gentleman here, Thomas. So the United States was behind a lot of what the Nazis were doing over in Germany. That's why during Project Paperclip, you see, they were using these people in other countries so they couldn't be linked to all the crimes happening to the Jewish people over there. Yep. Then Project Paperclip, we brought them all here. We created, a lot of different things like NASA, CIA, FBI, which is like the KGB. You get the point. Funny how that happens. They are now, the CIA and our intelligence agencies are now the most corrupt departments that we have in our own country. Let's get back to this guy Thomas here. So Thomas was a fan of eugenics. So he passed his ideology down to his son, who took over IBM, and that's how this man was rewarded. Yeah, for his efforts over there in helping the Nazis. He was a co-founder of IBM, the computers. And for those who don't remember, IBM helped a very unique individual by the name of Bill Gates get his start. And here's some things about Bill Gates that you might not know. Besides the fact that him and his wife's foundations contribute money to the National Institute of Health, the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and the Center for Disease Control. And these are the people that want to reduce the number of people in our population. Bill Gates Foundation also was kicked out of India because the vaccinations that they were given to the women there were causing them to get sterile. But let's get back to Bill Gates and IBM and how they're all tied into this. You see, Bill Gates' parents are unique. His father sat on the board for, Planned Parenthood. And his mother, well, she was a very close friend and worked closely and supported the ideology of this man here. She worked for IBM. It's weird how all these people are always tied together by families. You ever notice that? It is pretty freaky. Yeah, these families are all tied together. So anytime they invent anything or try to tell us, the public, that something's good for you, you really got to be hesitant about what it is they're introducing. Because they all have some very, very corrupt evil family members that have done some real cruel things throughout history. Anyways, the IBM computers, what we're talking about, that's going to be used for quantum computing. I showed you an article in one of my past videos that JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and them were playing around with the computer, trying to see what they could do to figure out algorithms and to study the human behavioral and how it responds to the stock market. They tell us it's to better serve their clients so they can become more profitable. But do you really think they care about their clients? No. They want to use their clients' monies to manipulate the poor to keep them poor by figuring out how to control the market like they do now using algorithms. Learning to crush the stock or whatever investment you're in when it's high, causing it to sell off so they can get the money. People panic, but selling, turn around, drops the value of it, then they buy on a dip. It's just an evil pattern that we see happening. Let's get back to the quantum financial system. So this is IBM's two little joys, and it has the ability to do all kinds of things. So yeah, I know this is when I bring this information to you, then everybody's like, no man, the white hats, clones, man, Trump controls it, yeah, XRP, and go back and, no, okay, so here's my thing, fine, but at least be informed about the people behind these toys. How can you sit around all day long and bitch and preach about to the rest of the world how evil our government is, moo-ha-ha-ha, and there's some cabal, moo-ha-ha, but then support anything that they bring to you? What the hell? Told you cryptocurrencies, there was an issue. Now support the premise behind it. That's if it could be successfully done. I think gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, if done properly and work together, can make a world of difference. But trying to keep it out of the hands of the powers that be when they control everything. Yeah, I know, clones, guy got it, executions, and Trump. Yeah. But let's just pretend that that's not the case. So they got these computers, and the fact that IBM again and Goldman Sachs are really interested in how it works and support it and have been studying the calculations made by it. Again, it's just another control tool. If they control your finances, like they're trying to do that digital dollar for central banks. Again, we're talking about central banks. Remember, cryptocurrencies came out. They said, oh, we're trying to get away from central banks because they're the cabal. Now central banks, support cryptocurrency. And everybody's like, look it. This is why you should buy this cryptocurrency because it's supported by this bank. I'm like, isn't that the people you said you wanted to get away from? Now all of a sudden you are happy that they're supporting your cryptocurrency? Am I missing something? While full-blown shift to quantum computing may not be happening just yet, the use of the technology alongside classical computers is gathering momentum. Fundamentally, the hybrid utilization ushers in a new age of computing technology. Hence, it is critical to understand the interplay of technologies and how their core structure differs and complement each other. You see, that technology is good if used properly. But I told you guys, one of the best inventors that was out there, this guy's invented all kinds of things. When they asked him, did he have any kind of information to inspire or to share with future inventors, he said, yes, when you get ready to invent something, before you do, you need to ask yourself 3 questions. One is, does it benefit everybody? 2, does everybody have access to it? In other words, can they afford it? Do they get it for free? How does it benefit them? How does it benefit society? Then the 3rd question was, can the government use it as a weapon against its own citizens? If you can answer yes to all 3 of those questions, don't invent it. Now, mind you, the first 2 questions were irrelevant. The point being, if whatever you're going to invent can be used as a weapon against people, don't invent it. Even if your heart is in the right place and you have good intentions, if the bad people can grab control of it and take it from you, they will. So here you have it. There is quantum computing in which they are doing financing on it. For decades, quantum computing has attracted the attention of academics and research institutes. Recently, a number of industries and private companies have positioned themselves as players in quantum computing field. Quantum computing in financing and banking is one of these recent developments. Really? Financial institutions tap on the high power processing capabilities of quantum computing and optimize for big data analytics. I bet they do. Especially when some of the people that are involved in this are behavioral science. Look that up. Incorporating quantum computing in finance and banking helps speed up transactional activities and grouping of seemingly incognate assets. So here's my thing about this. What difference does it make about how fast it is? I mean, again, I use my ATM card for purchases. It does plenty fast. I don't need to be any faster. The fact that they're trying to push it as something that we're going to somehow benefit because it goes faster makes me question it even more. What they're really focused on is the calculations and the analytics involved with this computer and doing it at a fast speed. If you know ahead of time or if you know quickly the patterns to look for in investing, well, obviously you would have a huge benefit. But if you could figure out from all the data that's being analyzed and the calculations that are being done, and you add in their behavioral scientists who say this is how people emotionally respond to things, well, then all you're doing is taking the data, using it to manipulate the masses so you can steal their wealth. Quantum computing to finance and banking support a portfolio analysis, assets appraisals, and high-frequency trading. See? By creating algorithms built on possibly in quantum computing, it's already done. We already know that Wall Street turned over. Most of the brokers aren't there. That everything's done on an algorithm. An algorithm keeps artificially pumping up stocks when there's nothing to support the reason for the market to do so good. So what exactly is the algorithm analyzing? What keeps us going? What keeps us motivated to pump our money in there before it crashes? It is for this reason that Barclays and JP Morgan Chase has joined IBM's Q network, exploring the possibilities of quantum computing in the industry. Once again, I told you, whenever these people are involved in these things, you have to slow yourself down and take a step back and don't just go, oh man, come on, Pimpy, the bad people are already dead, the clones. No, stop. Yes, all this technology is good if it's in the right hands. But you should be concerned about it. So I'll leave the link for this article. You guys can come over here and check this out because there is a lot of data or information on here about how quantum computing will be helping the financial world. I'll even leave this here for you as well. You can come over and enjoy tons of reading about where all this is going. Okay? There you go. Look at this bad boy, huh? Tesla is involved with this as well. So I'll make sure to pass this all along to you guys so you guys can go ahead and read this yourself. But keep in mind, I will be interviewing somebody at the end of this week that is familiar with the quantum financial system. I look forward to it. But that's it for now, you guys. I'm just updating you, letting you know you got to be careful about some of the things we get behind and support. You have to know the history of the people that created these companies. Really, you do. And that where this information I'm talking about, when it comes to this guy here and this guy here, you could go here and watch this right here, this video, and you'll learn a whole lot more about what they're really up to. All right? That's just a suggestion. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.